Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cardano Live. I have Alex Tai with us today. He is the association president for Theos. It's really cool NFT technology, building stuff on Cardano, and works with the Occam family of protocols and stuff like that. Alex has a really cool background, really cool history. Alex, thank you so much for being here today on Cardano Live. I appreciate it. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm really well, Rick. It's great to be here. Thank you.
All right, and thank you as well. So, can you tell us about Theos? Give us a little bit of history on that and where we're at today.
Theos, NFT paradise. It's we're trying to bring mainstream to DeFi. We have a fantastic team. I'm delighted to be working with, and we have a lot of grounding in blockchain technology over the last decade or so. I'm a director of the Global Blockchain Business Council myself. And within our community, we think we have the skill sets to bring what NFTs really deserve, a platform which gives access to everybody and gives also some liquidity options to people, and also bringing it to Cardano, which I'm sure we'll talk about given the Cardano live theme of your podcast.
Yeah, that is a really exciting part of DeFi and NFTs and bringing this technology to Cardano. So I want to let the viewers know down below in the description, I have links to Theos Twitter, Theos Medium articles, their website. You can find more information on the website. You have the Theos Telegram down there, so you can go check out information coming off the Telegram. Make sure you follow the Theos Twitter that's linked down below, as new information is coming out rapidly over the next couple of months. You're going to want to get your updates over there on the social media channels. So be sure to check out those links down below. While you're down there, smash the like and subscribe button. But the key thing is expand that description, get in on those links, check out everything that Theos has to offer. Lots of information on their website. Now, the cool thing is we have Alex here today, and there's, you have a really neat history. Let's go back in memory lane for a little while here. You're the COO and co-founder of Virgin Galactic, which is a commercial spaceflight program. Did I read that correctly? I was pretty excited when I read that. I'm a space fan. I'm also a race car fan. So space fan number one. What was the thing with the Virgin Galactic? What'd you do there?
It's a really cool project, and something that again was, I was incredibly lucky to be involved with. My career took me into the Virgin Group, where I was fortunate enough to end up leading special projects. So directed special projects for the group, which covered a whole range of different verticals. But basically, it was all the fun things that Sir Richard Branson wanted to do. So I had a fantastic team there as well, inspired by the Virgin brand. We came up with some fantastic ideas, and we're actually in the Mojave Desert, doing some world records with a guy called Steve Fossett, who was trying to set all sorts of different world records in aviation and boating. And we had sponsored, Virgin Atlantic had sponsored an aircraft called the Virgin Atlantic Global Flyer, which was going to be the first non-stop aircraft around the world solo, built by an aerodynamicist and genius called Burt Rutan. Whilst I was on that project, Steve Fossett, who became a really good friend of ours, I was lucky enough to set 11 world records with him in his aircraft. He said, look, you should check out what Burt is building in the hangar next door to the Global Flyer. And I said, well, so what's he building? He said, well, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he's building a spaceship. So there were a few expletives, and of course I needed to go and see the spaceship. So convinced Burt to show me his spaceship, which is not a conversation you get to have that often. And there it was. And I was really worried that, we were sponsoring this, groundbreaking, pioneering technology aircraft, and it was going to be totally eclipsed by this spaceship next door. So I worked out that we needed to get involved in some way, talked to Burt about it, and then came up with the idea and took it to Richard and said, look, we really need to be getting involved here, and maybe we should do Virgin Galactic. And we did. So that was the start. That was in 2003. And I was very lucky to be standing next door, or rather right next to Richard, in December 2018, when we went to space for the very first time. So in fact, that's Spaceship One there. And I have a control column for Spaceship One. over there. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
it's very much something that I love. So yeah, flying spaceships, and that was the idea. There was democratizing access to space. Space should be for everyone. I think it was Aristotle that said, for man to truly understand himself, he needs to be able to travel through the clouds to the stars. And it shouldn't just be governments that have that. We all should have the access to that. And as much as we're trying to provide democracy or democratize NFTs and access to the NFT paradise of Theos, that's what we were trying also to do with Galactic, democratize access to space.
Yeah, so that's incredible because you're like a pioneer technology, kind of working on the bleeding edge. It's like you were with Virgin Galactic in the early days, or maybe even predating SpaceX, for that matter. You're familiar with the SpaceX program,
yeah,
very similar.
I think we talked about this before. I was really lucky. I got introduced again by Bert Rutan to Elon Musk while I was running Galactic. So I went out to the Mojave Desert. And Bert's an inspirational guy. He's built some, with the Rutan aircraft factory and Scale Composites, the companies that he built all his aircraft with. He met a huge number of people. One of those guys was Elon Musk, very early on, just out of PayPal, and he was starting up SpaceX at the time in a collection of little factories just south of LAX. And it was really bizarre. He was building all these rockets in 3 or 4 different factory units that was, separated by streets. There was a bit of the rocket being built here and another bit of the rocket being built there. So I was introduced to him. Bert thought he was mad. I said, look, he's using really old technology. And this is the way forward. I think he was worried that we were going to take Richard Branson's money and spend it with Elon rather than spend it with him. So anyway, I was introduced, and Elon just is a really, really cool guy. He was really inspirational, and we used to actually go out drinking and chat about rockets and such things. I remember one day he pitched up, and we got out in his McLaren F1 the week before, which is an incredible car. It's got a single seat in the middle, and they're worth like $20 million now, or something ridiculous. And there was this little yellow Lotus parked in the factory next to a bit of one of his rockets that he was building. And I said, you haven't chopped in McLaren for a Lotus. He said, oh no, I'm building this little electric car. This is my little electric car project. And that was the first Tesla. This is back in 2004. Incredible. In fact, the Virgin Group almost invested both in SpaceX and in Tesla. I wouldn't bet against Elon. He's quite a guy.
Yeah, bet. That's pretty neat. And you got to meet him as well, huh?
No, we used to go drinking. We used to hang out.
Well, we need a rocket guy on Team Cardano over here, because we're going to the moon, brother. We're going to the moon. Not going for number 1 all day, every day.
It's actually Mars is the place that Elon wants to go to. I've still got to bet with him. He's going to find me a space on his rocket to go to Mars when he goes. But I want to go when it's actually possible to go there and back. I've got young children, so I want to be around for them when they grow up.
So you want to make the round trip mission, not a one-way mission. I can understand that. I'm with you on that.
And I think Elon's quite happy to just go one way. Well, I'm not there yet.
I'd rather come back after seeing it. Look, I got some rocks while I was there. Check it out.
Yeah,
that would be cool. And you know what else is cool is you got to work with the Formula 1 race team and Formula E race team with Virgin Galactic's racing.
Yeah, no, again, I'm exceptionally lucky running special projects. I did all the fun things. I don't know why they paid me any money, to do what I was doing, but I got to run their Formula 1 team. I was running all the sponsorships. So we sponsored the Brawn team when Jenson Button won the championship 2008, 2009. I got to go to every single one of the races that year, apart from Germany, where my wife said, look, I need to see you at least one weekend this summer. And that was great. We came first and second in the first race. Down in Australia. I remember turning up with a bag of Virgin stickers and throwing them all over the car, and then became first and second, and walked down the pit lane with Richard Branson, and the crowd was shouting, Richard. Okay, I've hit all my KPIs for this year. This is going to go okay. And then we won the championship. And after that, we started a Formula 1 team, but we came in under a cost cap where they wanted to limit the amount of money that you spent, which we thought was the right thing to do. So that it was a battle of brains rather than size of your bank balance. But that cost cap went away. So we had designed our team to operate for just shy of that with some contingency, and then everyone else was spending double the amount of money, and they were going quicker than we were, and we don't like losing. So we sold that team to Mauritius. Yeah, so that was great. And also Formula E. So we went into Formula E, and I was a CEO, team principal of that, and we had a huge amount of success, winning races in every single season and finishing in the top 3. It was great fun.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing a Cardano logo on a Formula One car or a McLaren. I think McLaren just teamed up with Tezos. I saw something about that in the news last week. But, it's great to hear about rocket ships and space cars. I love that kind of stuff. I think a lot of the viewers here love that kind of stuff too. But we came over here. We're gonna talk about Theos, and it's the DeFi paradise for NFTs. Lots of cool stuff coming out on Cardano. DeFi capabilities coming out in probably late August, early September. NFT technology is already here. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What do you want to tell us about Theos with respect to DeFi and NFTs? How does that part of the tech work?
Look, I think the most important thing is to create access. Because so NFTs aren't new now, but NFTs have not hit mainstream at all. So what we need to be able to do is, or what this community needs to be able to do, is provide wider access and get some mass adoption. And that, as much as it's really cool having a crypto kitty or crypto cutie or whatever you're going to have, we need to be able to provide real use cases. So why shouldn't an NFT be your ticket to access Disney? Or why isn't your NFT, the means for an artist or a singer or a group to be able to gain royalties when they're being streamed live? There's all sorts of different access that we can provide, but what we need to be able to do is be able to provide access to the minting mechanisms, so people know how to create an NFT, and then how can they extract value. So what Theos is there is it's there for the creator. It's NFT paradise for creators and also for investors. Once you have an NFT, so you've spent all this money on an NFT, so what? So you own that. Well, what about trying to get some liquidity from that? So we want to create mechanisms to provide liquidity for owners of NFTs. So primarily Theos, come and mint your NFTs here, and we'll provide a fantastic UX and UI to enable you to do that. But then once you have your NFT, maybe we can provide some liquidity tools by wrapping some ERC tokens around that, and then giving you access to liquidity.
Wow, that's excellent, because a lot of the NFT ideas that I've seen kicked around and also on this podcast are ownership in music, like with the Muse project. And so with something like a DeFi platform like Theos, if they wanted to push that out into a liquidity protocol, they could do something like, I'm just giving an example, do it through Theos, where in the Muse project, for example, that was selling. If someone creates the music and selling it in percentages like 5%, 10%, part ownership of that actual song. So liquidity is important, because then if they have a marketplace to sell that 5% ownership of a piece of music, or anything for that matter, could be real estate, could be space vehicles for all we know, right? Could be shares in a company, right? Or something like that. Who knows? NFTs could be a million different things, but you want to have a platform where you can go and buy, sell, and trade these NFTs for people who have a greater interest or greater investment in that particular NFT that you are selling. A lot so far, we've seen a lot of art based, which is great because art is lower risk, it's fun, it gets the artists motivated and engaged. Is there going to be some art-based NFT type things that can be done on Theos? And what other kind of NFTs are you thinking about?
Well, I think the important thing is, Rick, that we want to do this for the entire community, that's already in DeFi, that's already in the crypto space. So we're already talking to a number of different partners, and please, if you want to partner with us, come to us. We want to talk to you. So if you're creating an NFT platform, or you have an NFT idea, and you want to either have a place to have these minted, or you want to have a place where we can create liquidity, we want serious people that have got serious ideas, that have community. But we want to be able to have this as a somewhere for everyone. And I think we want to, as much as we're going to be launching on Cardano, we're probably going to be cross-chain across this. So wherever your NFT is based, maybe Theos is the platform for you to bring this and deposit your NFT and create and gain some liquidity from it. So it's all of these different ideas. There's a lot of people already doing things. We want to be working with those people, whether it's in the gaming industry, whether it's in the music industry, whether it's in the art industry. But if you're in the wine industry and you're starting NFTs with wines, talk to us. Maybe this is the place for you to pool your NFTs and come to our community. So this is for everybody. And I'm sure there's lots of fantastic ideas that people haven't had yet, or that listeners and watchers of this podcast would like to create. We want to talk to you.
Yeah. So for the viewers, check out the links down below. There's a link to the Theos.fi website. There's a contact form on that website. If you know someone who's into building the wine NFTs or any kind of NFTs whatsoever, check out the links, get that contact information over to Theos so that Alex's folks can get working on that and get those connections rolling. Please feel free to share this video with friends, family, people that way they can get this information. And we're still early. We're still very early. Smart contracts coming later this year. NFTs already available on Cardano. So, Alex, how's this going to work in general? Is there an underlying, you have like a Theos token to provide liquidity with, and people can trade in and out of that, and they can buy and sell Theos with ADA or Ethereum? How's that going to work?
Yeah, no, that's absolutely correct. I'm sure these are plans that are not new to the blockchain community, the crypto community. So yes, we will have our Theos token that you can use to stake your NFTs. I think what I would like to touch, if we can, if you don't mind us talking about Cardano, the reason why we're here. I see some questions coming up on the comments chat about what we're about, and I think people are asking so what has this got to do with Cardano? But one of the reasons that we are starting now, and we didn't start 2 or 3 years ago, or at least my part in the program. In fact, Theos has been around for the last few years, and there's been a few. You've been able to mint, and it's been a very early stage technology, which is actually originated out of Brazil, out of Sao Paulo in Brazil. Our chief marketing officer and one of our founders, Mariano, led that project with another one of our founders, Pablo Martins. Brilliant people, lovely people, and have been in this community for a long time. What I've seen as a director of the Global Blockchain Business Council is an antipathy towards blockchain technologies because of the issues around proof of work. So a lot of my contemporaries, other people in the industry said, yeah, look, Alex, I'd love to bring blockchain into my business, but we have a really strong ethical and environmental approach, and we can't do that. And it was almost the same thing that we found in Formula One. So I was going out, not only racing the cars, but with my commercial hat on, going out to large companies and looking for sponsorship. And they said, well, we'd love to sponsor you. It's really fun. Love to come to a race, but we can't stick our name on the car because, of the environmental impact, which is one of the reasons we went to Formula E. Fantastic story about having environmentally, zero impact on the environment with an electric car. And, also that the air that you breathe in the cities is fantastic, having electric cars in the center of cities. So it's one of the reasons we followed ourselves from Formula One and transferred into Formula E. Cardano is the same parallel, if you want to have something that's analogous, with going from a proof of work protocol to a proof of stake protocol, and the environmental, or the reduction in the environmental impact that we see. So my enthusiasm to launch Theos specifically was that I know that then as we take this to the mainstream, I'm not going to have that resistance, because if I can explain that we are less than 1% of the environmental impact of a proof of work protocol, and I don't want to name the names, but we all know those ones that are slaving away in proof of work. As soon as we have that up and running, and we've got the smart contracting working well, and I know that we're on the Alonzo 2 hard fork at this stage, but it's looking really promising. I mean, you can probably tell me more than my tech guys can with your community, but it seems to be going really well. And I'm being told that within 80 days, we'll be on the main net, and we're building now. So we're hoping that we can very soon launch our platform on the Cardano platform, and you'll be able to mint in Cardano on Theos.
That's great to hear. I'm glad you're looking at those impacts, because almost a year ago when Cardano mainnet launched, I hooked up my servers to a power meter and figured out, and Charles also, his team figured this out. Cardano is using almost 1 million times less energy than the Ethereum network. Okay. And now it's more than 1 million times more energy efficient than the Bitcoin network, for example. But to compare apples and apples,
1 million times.
1 million times, yes. So it's more than 1%.
So I can throw away the less than 1%, can I? It's 1 millionth.
Less than 1% fits in people's head better. So less than 1% power consumption is probably easier to say and comprehend. But the power consumption is massively less, because proof of work, there's no limit on the amount of energy proof of work. It incentivizes people to burn more energy, right? Doesn't matter where the energy came from, power, solar, gas, electric, coal, whatever, coal power. You still got to burn more energy to compete. Whereas with proof of stake, of course, you have a different internal resource to secure the network. So the NFT power consumption is way lower. There's over 156,000 different NFT and native tokens deployed on Cardano already. The last time I checked, last week. Massive number of NFTs, very low power consumption, incredible technology for you to be deploying on. I love to hear this, Alex. This is great news to me and all the viewers who are here. So, I mean, you can't ask for any better. But what did I see in the headlines a couple of weeks ago? What I saw in headlines was, oh, these NFTs use massive amounts of energy. And I'm going, no, it uses a massive energy on some blockchains, but not all blockchains. So I'm thinking that over time, the dialogue will gradually shift to saying, oh, there are platforms where power's conserved, right? It's used efficiently and used conservatively. So I'm glad to hear that you've picked Cardano for that. We did have a few questions. We had one from Enoch Sosh. And similarly, Nicholas had asked exactly why Cardano. I think we've answered that, hopefully, Nicholas. And what I'll do is we'll get to some viewer questions here in a little while. If you have questions, let us know in the chat, especially while we have the experts like Alex on here. He's a high-level expert. He's got a team of people who are building this stuff over at Theos. But at least the high-level stuff we can touch on here. And Alex, if you want to do another podcast in the future, you're welcome to come back at any time, especially in the upcoming months as more and more starts deploying on Cardano. People would love to hear an update. So I just wanted to throw that out there. The invite is always welcome to come back.
We'd love to come back.
Yeah. So we touched on you have a Theos token. There's an IDO launch coming soon. On that, I'm assuming you're going to provide updates on your social media as to when the Theos IDO will be available.
And look, I think my preference and certainly the strategy at the moment is we want to show people that we're real. I think, unfortunately, as most people will know in this community, there's 80% smoke and mirrors, unfortunately. And we want to show people that we're a real project and we've got real intent. And look, we want to be able to bring all investors with us for this, but we're doing a tiny private round at the moment, so it's really difficult to get access, unfortunately, to investment. But when our IDO comes along, we'll open that up to everybody, and we want to coincide that with being able to show people that we're real. So that we want to show them the live platform. We want to show you how you can mint, how you can provide a staking pool to put your NFT into, so people can see the value of it before they decide to buy a token or invest or stake their NFTs in one of our pools. So yeah, but that will be inside. Funnily enough, it will coordinate with when Cardano goes live on the mainnet, and we can show people how this will work on Cardano. So that's the timing at the moment. So expect that over the next 2 months or within the next 2 month time frame.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that puts us in the August-September timeframe. And a question I often get, Alex, and I don't want to put you on the spot. This one might be hard to answer, but do you know if Americans will be able to buy it? Because we've had some other IDOs who are launching or working towards launching Cardano. Americans can't always buy them because we have our friends at the SEC who are overlooking stuff, sales in the United States. So Americans don't always get to buy in. Are you going to try to get sales going in the US, or do you have a plan in the out months where guys like me can purchase the tokens?
Yeah, absolutely. As a director of the Global Blockchain Business Council, we're talking to everyone. It's not just some of the largest corporates, but we're also talking to governments, and we're also talking to regulators, and we're trying to tell them which are the better projects and how they should regulate, and how they should really provide access to for their citizens, for the people that they are looking after, with the right regulations to make sure that people go into it with their eyes open. The North America market is one of the most important markets, and certainly the most important market from a financial investment perspective. So a huge amount of effort is going in to make sure that we are able to give access to that community, and we do it in the right way. And given my access and directorship of the Global Blockchain Business Council, it becomes a little bit easier to navigate that path.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're at least trying, because what I'm looking forward to is I'm saying, well, at least when it goes out on an actual DEX, I can buy it no matter what. Doesn't matter, right? But the early sales, the pre-sales, some of the seed rounds and stuff like that, people find that really interesting, and they would probably like to learn more about that as more becomes known and more is developed. We did get a few questions in the chat. Are we okay? Are you okay if we just touch on a few of those?
Yes, of course, Rick.
Okay. So from Cardano Llamas, he asks, how do you plan to feature creators? And that would be the NFT creators.
Okay, so we actually have a chief creator, and some of you may know him, or at least the Generation X. I don't know whether I can speak for you, but as a Generation X chap, I've been around longer than I'd like to have been around. We have a guy called Matt Sorum, who was from a small band called Guns N' Roses. I don't know whether you've heard of Guns N' Roses, but they're pretty good. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's got access to an incredible bunch of people. I met Matt. He was introduced to me by Pablo at actually not a very rock and roll place. We were at Davos, so lots of suits wandering around in the snow in Switzerland, pontificating about how they should run the world. So I was there, trying not to do as much pontificating as possible, but I was trying to find a place to stay, and there was a chalet going that a friend of mine, a guy called Bill Ty, who's in this community. I hope if you're out there somewhere, same surname as me, but we don't share. We're actually not close relatives, and he had a spare room going, and said, "Come and stay with us." But look, you should know that Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses is also staying there. So that was it. There was no sleeping. We spent the entire time drinking beer through the night, quizzing Matt about going on tour with Guns N' Roses. We're actually going to do an AMA sometime over the next month. So please, people, follow the Theos.fi website, and you'll see news of that AMA coming up. So you can get to ask Matt Sorum exactly what it was like being on tour. But he was at Davos trying to sort things out for his community, for fellow creators in the music industry, and it's not just the people that have made their money. People like Matt Sorum, he's not missing many meals these days from the revenue that comes through. But to be fair, they don't get a fair share of it, and most people in the music industry don't get a fair share of it. And and I know the power of the decentralized marketplace. If we can give access to music to the decentralized community and the decentralized marketplace, it's going to create so much opportunity for creators, and not just creators in the music industry, but creators in all art industries. So yes, we want to have this place for creators. So if you're a creator in the future, you'll be able to come to the Theos platform, and you'll be able to mint your NFT, and we'll provide a fantastic UI, UX, the user experience and the user journey, which will make it really easy for you to understand how to create it. We'll provide wallets for you. We'll provide probably a self-sovereign identity system. That's one of the other things that I'm very involved with, that will pair with this, so you don't have to worry about, where do I put my NFT? How do I know that it's attached to me? How do I know that I have ownership of this? So as an artist, you can come to Theos, mint your art, and take value from it.
Well, you keep dropping surprises here. That's really nice to hear. Matt Sorum is a pretty well-known guy, pretty popular in the US here. And so he's aware of Cardano, and he's aware
yeah, go to theos.fi. We were I can't tell you too much about that. I'll save it for the AMA. But yeah, Matt Sorum is our chief creator. So we really do have space for creators, and he will not only bring some of his community with him, some fantastic rock bands and contemporaries of his, but other people across the creative artist space, and he'll be bringing those people to Theos. So it really will be a center of excellence and the place to go to create non-fungible tokens with your art.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm on your webpage right now, the theos.fi. Click on the team tab, and there's a very large team of people here. Some people yet to be revealed. Very interesting, very intriguing. I like that. And there's Matt Sorum.
Yeah,
and
he's a great guy. Great
interesting.
guy. I urge you to spend a few nights in a Swiss chalet with a few crates of beer. It's eye-opening stuff.
A few crates of beer.
Yeah.
Wow, nice. Okay, so let me think. All right, for the viewers, hit us up with any questions. We'll be wrapping up in just a few minutes. We've been rolling here. It's been over half an hour already. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Alex, this has been great. If there's a few other questions we can check on, is there anything else you want to let the viewers know at this point in time about Theos?
I think the thing to do is we really want, this community is so important to us, and not just the Cardano community. I mean, we believe our home is Cardano. It's the right platform, the right protocol to be launching on. I was lucky enough to be the CEO of a blockchain foundry in Manhattan Beach in 2018. So coming out of the Virgin Group and after leaving the Formula E team, I went there, and our first client was General Motors. It was a large, multi-million-dollar protocol looking at supply chain. And the protocol we were looking to work on there, I was talking to Dominic Williams, lovely guy, really smart guy, but he was building the internet computer and DFINITY. And with all these things, there's the same thing with Galactic. The technology just doesn't arrive in time, and you need to be able to have things done right here, right now. So, DFINITY launched, and I think it's a fantastic protocol. But if you look at where the smart money and the smart minds are going, you look at the value of DFINITY against Cardano. This is, the peer reviews, the science behind the Cardano project, the amount of energy now going into the smart contracting there. That's where the force of effort is, and we need to have that community. We need to have not just the investors, but the engineers, the developers, the people that want to write those smart contracts. So, we think this is the right place to be. We have been agnostic to our tier 1 protocol until now, but I'm very much becoming a bit of a Cardano lover because it really is the right place to be. So, just want to reach out to everyone in the Cardano community and say, look, we're here for you. We'd love to have your support, and we hope that we can earn that over time.
Wow. Thank you, Alex. That's a very powerful message, and I think people appreciate that. Let's touch on 2 questions from one of our very frequent flyers. Enoch Sosh is here with us, and he asks, do you have developers engaged in the Plutus Pioneer program?
I think we probably do. I don't know how much I can say about it. Our CTO, and I think one of the things that we should do is get Ivan, our CTO, on your program in the future if we want to talk specifically to the development community. But we've got a crack team of developers that are working, centralized in Europe, but aided on the front end in Latin America, and also from North America, and also from the Far East and in other elements. So there's a large team of developers working and across on the Pluto network, I believe, at the same time. But I can't give you too much detail about that.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Thank you for that. Thank you, Enoch, for that question. And thank you as well, Alex. It's very difficult for people to discuss the Plutus Pioneers program because everyone who is participating in it directly in the program, they have to sign NDAs, and we don't want to get into all that to protect the other people who are also working on that Pioneer program. There's over 1,500 people involved in there, big organizations, banks, these ones, Occam, Theos, so massive. Iagon was here yesterday, and so they're all involved with that. And then the last question we'll touch on is also from Enoch, and that was, what is the relationship with Occam Finance?
So they've been great friends of ours. So right from the beginning, we are launching on the Accelerator. Whether they have exclusivity or not, but they have a wonderful team based out in Switzerland, and they're led by a great CEO on their platform, and they've got some fantastic strategists. So they have it was those guys that introduced to the Occam community. As you can imagine, or the Cardano community, as you can imagine, and they've been providing a huge amount of advice for us and some mentorship in terms of joining the Cardano community, and introduced us to some fantastic developers and also partners. So we have a very, very close relationship with Occam FI, and we think that they have a great product in themselves, and they are obviously great champions of the Cardano community. So very close relationship.
Okay, that's good to hear. There's a massive industry starting to form on Cardano, and so it's good to see that there's some what I call it competitive cooperation. Like we're trying to accomplish something. There's some overlap, things that we can cooperate on, and then things we can push forward on.
I think if I can on that, I was chairman of the Commercial Spaceflight Federation, and that we were competitive. What we were doing. I had some very eclectic members. So we had bought our intellectual property from Paul Allen, the co-founder of Microsoft. So I ended up going to Seattle and negotiating with Paul Allen to buy that IP, from him. He'd bought Captain Kirk's chair. That was his chair in his office. It was bizarre from the Starship Enterprise. An incredible guy. But there was him, and there was another guy called Jeff Bezos. I don't know whether you know about Jeff. He started a little company, and he was building New Shepard with his company and building spaceships as well. And then we had Elon Musk, who really wasn't very well known at the time. So we had all of these various, incredible people that were sitting around the table as part of a board in the Commercial Spaceflight Federation that I was the chairman of. And I want to point that, as much as we might be competitive in what we're doing, the market is absolutely huge. And this is the same position that we find ourselves in the DeFi community. We're just scratching the surface. When Jeff Bezos was flogging books online, with Amazon, so how he started that off, that was a far cry. People say, well, this is never going to last. What we are doing, we can provide so much. Our science, the science that we have as the foundation of our technology, will provide huge opportunities, and not just for industry, but also for the people on the planet, and not only for looking after the planet at the same time, as we've touched on already with the environmental possibilities and efficiencies that we have with the Cardano network, but also for financial inclusion. I believe that NFTs should be for everybody, and also financial inclusion needs to be for anybody. If you can pair a self-sovereign ID to a multi-custodial wallet, keep your NFTs in that custodial wallet, you can keep your birth certificate there. You can keep your KYC there, which means that you can get access to a bank account. And then if we can send ADA between one another across borders in the future and save huge efficiencies in the transfer of value across borders, we end up gaining access to a much bigger community. There are 1.5 billion people that are either unbanked or possibly in excess of 2 billion people that are underbanked in the future. We need to push the borders of financial inclusion out to include those people. Everyone should have the access to credit. Everyone should have the access to loans. Everyone should have the ability and have the dignity to be able to prove who they are with a self-sovereign identity, and also have complete permission over the data which is transferred. Your data does not belong to Twitter or Instagram. Your data belongs to you. And we need to be able to create a system in the future where you have sovereignty on it. And we at Theos would like to be able to provide these systems along with the rest of this community to expand these borders, to look after not just the people of the planet, but also the planet we live on.
Alex, that's an incredible message to wrap up a podcast on. Your vision here parallels what I hear in Cardano. I think it's very aligned with what people in Cardano want to see, why they're interested in Cardano. You described that extremely well. So I think on that note, we can wrap up for the day. And the invitation is always open to you to come on back and throw some updates out there if you would like. And I would like to give you thanks from myself, and also thanks to all of the viewers for coming on Cardano Live and providing us awesome information, and also providing us some inspiration in, that there are really awesome companies out there building on Cardano. I've appreciated all the guests who've come on here and spoke with me on Cardano Live, and I greatly appreciate you coming on and doing this. So anything else other than that, we will wrap it up and we'll call it a day. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on your show, Rick.
You're welcome. It's getting late on your side of the planet, so you have a great night over there, Alex. And to all the viewers, thank you for watching Cardano Live. Smash like and subscribe and get these videos out to other folks. Everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.